Chapter 4, The Secret of Change. What is the secret of change? How do we make lifestyle changes stick? That is the challenge that everyone faces. We want to lose weight, have more energy, eat healthier, start working out, become more fit. The list goes on. What holds us back? The secret of change begins with self-awareness and ends when you decide that you are going to make a change. The story of Grobwell Grommet, written by Art Hope, columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle. On the morning of his 42nd birthday, Grobwell Grommet awoke to the sound of ominous thunder. Glancing out the window with blurry eyes, he saw written in fiery letters, "Someone is trying to kill you, Grobwell Grommet." With shaking hands, Grommet lit his first cigarette of the day. He didn't question the message. You don't question messages like that. His only question was who. At breakfast, as he salted his fried eggs and buttered his toast, he told his wife Gracia, "Someone is trying to kill me." "Who?" she asked in horror. Grobwell slowly stirred the cream and sugar into his coffee and shook his head. "I don't know," he said. Convinced though he was, Grobwell wasn't going to the police with his story. He decided his only course was to go about his daily routine and hope somehow to outwit his would-be murderer. He tried to think on the drive to the office, but the frustration of making time by beating the lights and switching lanes occupied him wholly. Nor, once behind the desk, could he think for a moment what with jangling phones, urgent memos, and problems and decisions piling up as they did each day. It wasn't until his second martini at lunch that the full terror of his position struck him. It was all he could do to finish his lasagna. "I can't panic," he said to himself, lighting his cigar. "I simply must live my life as usual." He worked until 7 as usual, drove home fast as usual, studied business reports as usual, and he took 2 sleeping pills in order to get his usual 6 hours of sleep. As the days passed, Grobwell fully stuck to his routine. As the months went by, he began to take great pleasure in his ability to survive. "Who's ever trying to get me," he said proudly to his wife, "hasn't got me yet. I'm too smart for him." "Oh, please be careful," she replied, ladling him a second helping of beef stroganoff. The pride grew as he managed to go on living for years. But as it must to all men, death came at last to Grobwell. It came at his desk on a particularly busy day. He was 53 years old. His grief-stricken widow demanded a full autopsy, but it showed only emphysema, heart disease, ulcers, cirrhosis of the liver, cardiovascular aneurysm, pulmonary edema, obesity, high blood pressure, and a touch of lung cancer. How glad Grobwell would have been to know, said his wife smiling proudly through her tears, that he died of natural causes. You can change. Developing new lifestyle habits can be challenging for all of us. Change is a true constant in life. But how do we convince ourselves to make a change? This is the challenge we all face in different areas of our life. The diet industry is a great example of how difficult change can be. In 2019, the United States spent over $60 billion in the weight loss industry, with a 95% failure rate. People want to lose weight. They invest their precious resources of time and money, but something is missing. 5 steps to sustainable change. Here are the 5 steps to sustainable behavior change. There's a great deal to unpack here. Take it slow, as these points will be discussed throughout the rest of this audiobook. Changing behavior is not easy, but people can and do change. Step number 1, self-awareness. The story of Grobwell Grommet is a great example of the lack of self-awareness. Grobwell had no idea that his unhealthy lifestyle was killing him. He was ducking, hiding, running away, and trying to elude his killer, when in fact, he was the killer. Grauble had many blind spots. We all have blind spots. How about you? What blind spots do you have? How many breaths do you take per minute? What is your resting heart rate? What is your blood pressure? How many ounces of water do you drink each day? How much time do you spend moving your body on a typical day? Do you consume omega-3 or omega-6 fats on a regular basis? How many hours of sleep do you get per night? How many hours of screen time do you spend in a typical day? Lack of awareness is a killer for all of us when we're trying to make a change. If we're not aware, it's impossible to make a change. We all have blind spots in our life, and changing any behavior begins with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to step outside of ourselves to make a calculated, conscious decision. Once you begin to look around, what do you see? What do you feel? What must change? Are you ready to make a change? On a 1 to 10 scale, are you a 5, an 8? Maybe you're 10 and cannot wait to get rolling. Maybe some of you are thinking, well, if I'm a 3 or a 4, then what is necessary to take that first step? Is there something that is holding me back? Some people may feel trapped. Many have tried to make a change before, but may have failed. I'm here to tell you that everyone can make a change. Having the awareness that you must make a change is step 1 in your pursuit of feeling and being your best. How ready are you on a 1 to 10 scale to make a change? What has held you back in the past? What blind spots are now coming into view? Step number 2, what do you want? Okay, now is the time to develop a clear picture or image in your mind of what do you want. Imagine a healthier and fitter you. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Would you like to improve your blood pressure or balance your cholesterol profile? Increase your flexibility and balance? Ski with your grandkids? Walk in the Grand Canyon? Run or walk a 5K? Get stronger? Get off your acid reflux or gout medications? Decrease your back pain? Is your energy and stamina where you'd like it to be? How about your sleep, your weight? Would you like to balance your hormones? Maybe your health is starting to fade and your blood work needs to be improved. Or maybe you have begun taking a few medications and do not like where you are heading. Get specific about what you want. If your goal is to lose weight, determine how many pounds, by when, how you will look, how you will feel, how you will move, how will it impact your life. Creating a clear picture in your mind of what you want is very powerful. Do you have a clear picture of what you want? Are you willing to contemplate your future now? What are the top 3 things you want? Be very specific. Step number 3, the power of why. The longer I've been in the space of health and fitness, the more I realize the power of finding our why. Our why is the jet fuel for change to take place. It is the emotion that can pull us out of the mud when we want to give up. When consulting with clients who want to make a healthier lifestyle change, I must help them tap into their why. When I was speaking in Michigan many years ago, 2 women approached me and said they had heard me speak multiple times and knew I was all about finding your why. They wanted to share their why with me. Okay, let me hear it. Well, the 2 of us got in a weight loss contest. We both lost over 30 plus pounds, and here comes their why. The loser had to eat a can of cat food. When I tell the story, the audience laughs. It's a fun story about how a simple emotion can drive human behavior. The cat food is a small why, but a powerful one. Finding a small why can be easy and can change like the wind. Maybe you want to look better for an upcoming wedding or class reunion, or increase your flexibility or suppleness so you can work in the yard or play golf again with less back pain. We all need small and short-term whys to keep us engaged. Here comes the challenge. How do you find a big why? Going back to Joan's story, over the years, Joan had tried to lose weight multiple times with little success. What Joan was missing was the emotional leverage necessary to keep her on track. When Joan's why went outside of her, the magic truly began for her. Joan's why was no longer about losing weight, it was much more. Every time she felt like giving up, Joan would think about her husband Clarence and his love for motorcycles. She was driven to give Clarence his second love. A few years ago, we held an On Target Living Challenge to start the new year. Over 2,000 people signed up. One of the assignments of the challenge was to come up with your why. Reading through all the whys, I was pleasantly surprised by the number of people who bared their souls on what was driving them to make a change. One why stood out to our team was from a woman in Seattle. She shared she needed to get healthier and stronger so she could take care of her disabled son as he grew older. She was his caregiver and his love. She knew if she did not get healthier, she would not be able to care for him. Wow. Reading her story, you could feel the power in her voice. She had enough rocket fuel to go to the moon and back. Remember, your why always must be bigger than your but. What is your small why? What is your big why? Step 4, build a habit one step at a time. Where many people get it wrong is they try to go too fast. They want results now. I want to lose 30 pounds, so I'm going to eat only vegetables, drink only water, and work out and meditate for 60 minutes 7 days a week. This is a blueprint for failure. Building sustainable habits takes focus, energy, and time. How can we process everything happening all around us without being completely distracted? It starts in the mind. Our mind has 3 stages of consciousness that filter our perceptions and our thoughts: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. The conscious mind. The conscious mind is where our habits begin. It's like working with a piece of clay. It's soft, pliable, it can take on infinite shapes. We can squeeze it, mold it, but it all takes focus, energy, and effort to form the shape we want. Remember when we first learned how to tie our shoes, ride a bike, or drive a car? It took some time and focused energy. Imagine if we had to focus on every little task to start our day. Brush our teeth, take a shower, get dressed, put on our shoes, and drive to work. I think we would all be exhausted by 10 a.m. Building a new habit begins in the conscious mind and takes a great deal of focus, energy, and effort. The subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where most of our habits live. It allows us to process information much faster and with considerable less energy than the conscious mind. Once a habit enters the subconscious mind, it's like going into a vault, locked away but easy to draw upon and execute. Most of our daily habits, like taking a shower, brushing our teeth, getting dressed, having a cup of coffee, looking at our phone, eating breakfast, and driving to work, are on autopilot. It is the subconscious mind that allows our brain to rest a good part of the day. Unfortunately, when stress is in the mix, our new conscious habits can easily be put on the back burner. We let our guard down, we lose focus, and we lose energy. Most of the time, we revert right back to the easy button of our old comfortable habits that live in our subconscious mind. Those conscious habits that we try to build are hard to resume. The unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the limitless reservoir of knowledge, creativity, and experience that make up the largest part of our mind. We've all experienced a time when taking a shower or going for a long walk, some incredible insights pop into our mind. Where did these thoughts and insights come from? They came from the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind holds the answers to many of our questions and challenges. Because of its infinite capacity, the unconscious mind can be the most powerful part of our mind. To access this information on demand takes training and the ability to quiet the mind. You will learn more about how to quiet the mind and access the unconscious mind in Section 3, Rest, Relaxation, and Rejuvenation. One small step at a time. One small step is better than no step at all. A couple months prior to my presentation to the National Dental Association, I visited my dentist. I asked my hygienist what inside scoop she might have that would help me design my speech to resonate with this crowd. She said, "Chris, why don't you just talk about developing a habit of flossing?" She looks at me and I look at her. We both start to laugh. She knows that I rarely floss. You can't lie to your dental hygienist about flossing. She said, "No, I'm serious. You could build a new habit of flossing and share this with the audience. They would love it." "Okay," I responded. "Please guide me." She advised me to start flossing 2 times per week. When I asked her if that was enough, she replied, "Since you don't currently floss, it's a great start." As the weeks leading up to the conference, I began flossing multiple times per week. I've now become a flossing machine. When the conference finally arrived, I began my presentation in front of a few thousand dentists and dental hygienists telling my flossing story. The audience was laughing and super engaged. It was a fantastic opening. Suddenly, a dentist in the front row stated loudly, "Flossing 2 to 3 times a week is not enough. You need to floss every day." Boom! Instantly, the energy in the room evaporated. There was dead silence. After a long pause, I asked the dentist, "How often do you exercise?" He sheepishly answered, "I currently do not exercise." I asked, "If you went for a 10-minute walk a few times a week, do you think that would be a good start?" A few months later, I received an email from this same dentist. He said, "I want you to know that you inspired me to start taking small steps to improve my health and my life. I walk daily, am now working out with a trainer once a week. I'm drinking more water, eating oatmeal with berries and nuts for breakfast, taking the cod liver oil. I've lost 10 pounds and my blood pressure has drastically improved." Just like the flossing practice, one step developed into a lifetime habit. The key to building a lifestyle that you can love and sustain is learning how to build habits. And you do this by taking one step at a time. What is one new habit you would like to start building today? What is one new habit you would like to build in the future? Step 5, feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. We all need regular feedback to measure our new behaviors and habits to see if they're working. We also must have the courage to measure. There are many ways to measure, monitor, and get feedback necessary to keep us on track. The body is always talking, and we must learn how to listen. Do you monitor your body weight? Do you get your blood pressure checked monthly? Do you get your blood work checked on an annual basis? Do you know how many breaths you take per minute? Do you know your resting heart rate? How many hours of sleep are you getting? Can you stand with your back against the wall with great posture or get up and off the floor with ease? Success depends on feedback. Years ago, I was watching a documentary about the weight loss industry. They were interviewing Eric, a past winner from the TV show The Biggest Loser. Eric went from 416 pounds to 198 pounds, winning the $250,000 first place prize. He became an overnight success story. Fast forward 18 months and Eric was being interviewed about his journey. He began by talking about his time on the show, the excitement, the camaraderie, and how driven he was to win. He said he loved it all except the weekly weigh-ins, which were extremely stressful. Eric then began to talk about what was going on in his life today. He felt as though he had slowly lost his way. The interviewer asked him to elaborate. He said he started reverting back to many of his old habits of drinking soda pop and eating fast food. He stopped working out. The interviewer asked how much he weighed now. He said that he knew he had gained some weight back, but wasn't sure how much. Then he got on the scale. This was a live interview. The emotions were real, and you could feel Eric's anxiety as he was about to step on the scale. The scale read 412 pounds. Then there was a long silence. The look on Eric's face was devastating. He had gained all his weight back. Everyone could feel Eric's pain and sadness in that moment. As the interview continued, we learned about Eric's way of thinking and his beliefs. Eric believed he needed to eat only 1,500 calories and exercise 2 to 3 hours every day to keep his weight off. His unrealistic goals, expectations, and beliefs, wrapped with little or no feedback, was a recipe for disaster. We all need some type of feedback to keep us on track and help us pivot when necessary. How do you plan to monitor your success? Journey of change. As we begin our journey of change, we can expect to encounter a few roadblocks and challenges along the way. Stage 1 of our journey begins with the honeymoon stage. The honeymoon stage is a time of bliss. Everything is working great, and we are extremely focused. Our energy and excitement is off the charts, and we are driven. Stage 2 of our journey is the honeymoon is over stage. It is during this stage that we begin to lose some of our motivation. The shiny penny has lost some of its luster. Our new habits are not yet locked in, and our plan now feels like work. The slope from stage 2 to stage 3 is steep and slippery. Stage 3 is the valley of despair stage. It is during this stage when most people give up. The journey has become more difficult than expected. We begin to feel stuck and start to believe we cannot do it. We must not give up. It is during stage 4, the habit stage, when habits start taking hold. And in stage 5, the ritual stage, is when habits turn into daily rituals. Stage 4 and 5 take deliberate practice and time to develop. Once habits and rituals are built, success will follow. As you continue to listen to this audio, don't lose hope. Come back and listen to this chapter again and again. You can do this. Visualize a clear picture of what you want. Determine your powerful why. What steps do you need to take? Do not give up. You can do this. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but building the new. The secret of change essentials. Big picture. Grauble was unaware that his unhealthy lifestyle was slowly killing him. Developing new lifestyle habits can be challenging for all of us. Changing behavior is not easy, but people can and do change. The 5 steps to sustainable behavior change include self-awareness, what do you want, power of why, 1 step at a time, and feedback. Journey of change. We all must experience our own journey. Ask yourself, we all have blind spots in our life when it comes to our health. What blind spots do you have? Do you have a clear picture of what you want or would like to improve? What is driving you to make a change? What is one new habit you would like to develop? How are you going to monitor your success? Small steps. Take a few minutes now to uncover possible blind spots. Name the top 3 things you want. Build 1 new behavior that supports your vision. Write down your why and post it in clear sight. And lastly, focus all your energy on what you want and what you're going to do.